I call this town council meeting to order on March the 18th, 2024. Let's stand and pledge allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Remain standing for invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We ask that you be with us as we make decisions for our community, our town. Lead us and guide us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. You have your agenda before you. Do I hear approval or any corrections? Councilman Pro Tem Trippett made the motion. Councilwoman Dobbin second. All in favor? Any opposed? We have the minutes of the regular town council meeting on February the 19th. Are there any additions or corrections? Councilman McGowan made the motion. Councilman Brown seconded. All in favor? All opposed? We have the work session meetings of February the 26th, 2024.
Make a motion to approve.
Councilman Triffett made the motion to approve. Councilman Dobbin seconded. All in favor? At this time, we will have our first open forum. If you would like to speak, please come forward, state your name, your address, limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Evening. My name is Sean Hanlon from 124 Weber Court. I have some minutes. I didn't know if y'all want to review them as I spoke from a previous few meetings. I don't know if that was allowed or not, just so you can review, understand where I was coming from. I've come up here a few times. Did the police officer need to bring them up to you, or can I come up and hand them? I have one off. I only have 6. You don't need them?
I think we're okay.
You don't need them? All right. I'm complaining about JT Auto yet again. Still no fence and the lights. They are in the minutes, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I've been pretty patient. I don't really understand what's going on. I understand it's still in the works and still going on, but they've been in business for over 6 months. They've been there for a little while, and I don't understand why there's still no fence fully around the building. I don't understand why there's lights still shining in my backyard. I don't understand why there's a big giant spotlight still in my backyard. When we approved them, when we let them in, it was kind of to join into a community, not to be a sore thumb to the community. And right now they're being a sore thumb because the lights are going over to other people's yards. They're going to my yard. And it's not that, okay, I understand there's change happening, but the change needs to be respectful. This is not being respectful. They're only willing to change the lights, quote, in a text, if I'm giving them a bad Google review, they'll change the lights. How is that a friendly neighbor?
Can I interrupt you just a minute? It's my understanding that you met with our town administrator and with our planning director,
Yes, that's correct.
and that they were going to get information back to you when all of this stuff was supposed to be completed. Have they done that yet?
They're still working on it, but I don't want it to
Okay.
be completed and finished without being fixed. So I don't want the project being finished and saying,
It
oh,
won't.
too late, I'm sorry,
it-
you're out of luck.
It will not be, because it has to meet the planning director's direction. Now, it may take some time for them to comply, but she is still working on it.
But how much time are we willing to give them? Years?
You will have to talk with her about that because
isn't-
it's in our ordinance how much time.
But we've already given them multiple extensions. How
Have
many more
you?
extensions are we gonna have? Why do I have to keep coming home every night and sleeping with a light in my eye? Why do we have to do that? That's not respectful. When we bring in people to our town, we want to bring respectful people, not a nuisance. When I've asked them several times, I've asked the town several times. It's not hard to make those adjustments now to help out their neighbors, right? The whole point of bringing people in, no matter who it is make sure they're being a neighborly person. I understand you're taking your time and you want to make sure all the ordinances, but an easy fix, I don't
But
understand why.
they have to do it according to the way our planning director tells them and when. See, when they get everything done, she has to do a final inspection.
So it's the
I don't
town's fault
think-
that I have
I
light in
don't
my eye?
think that's happened yet.
So it's all y'all's fault because I
Mayor
have lights
Bird,
in my eye?
Yes.
we have some answers for Mr. Hanlon and we were going to give them to him tomorrow, but I understand that Wendy's got them with her tonight. If you'd like for her to address council so that you can understand what's going on.
Council.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Um, Mr. She passed the concerns along to me. Between her my meetings, we've not been able to sit down together. That morning. It's back to Mr. Hanlon. I do not have all of the comments with me, but I can address the ones that I do remember. Mr. Nelson was given a zoning approval. Open. As he was moving forward, zoning items that had to be done. It was nothing safety related. On the a fence has been I have gone to Mr. Nelson. I've talked with him. He's willing to put that fence up. I met with him Friday before last. I was over there and he's willing to put up landscape buff. And he's gonna order that. Take him some time to get everything in. He's got part of it, but not. That will help a lot of what goes through that. The light situation, when you came to me before, I talked to him about that. He did downgrade that bulb to the lowest he could, and he said he turned it down more toward the ground. I have ridden through the neighborhood close to your house at night because I wanted to see personally what it was doing. Apparently from the street, I'm not seeing what you're seeing from your backyard. He said if need be, he will disconnect that light completely. Is it the very back light on that building that's shining in your window?
Yeah, no, it's that big motion light, there's a big light, and I requested in the minutes for it to be motion.
The one at the very front?
Well, there's one light post where that's not a big deal, where the town got off of that one, but the one on his property, inside his property, are two spotlights. They're facing towards my property, and they're beaming right down. Then he has the building lights that are on here in the minutes, that's why I want to hand them out. And he said they're gonna be down and with like little brackets, so it's facing all the way
Right,
down.
he's got reflectors on them, so it's pushing down.
He only has reflectors on one side. The back side, if you're looking at the building from my house, the back side does not have reflectors, nor does the left side. Only the
The
right
side
has
next to
reflectors.
Weber Court?
So if you're looking at the building or if you're looking at the building from the front.
From Swift Creek, okay?
Mayor, point of order. Point of order. I'll be honest with you, the other ones might be okay with, I mean, with the lights, which one is it that is the issue?
the side light, the main spotlights, and then the ones in the back of the building and the.
So you got a problem with multiple lights?
Well, yes, because it was said in the minutes, to be facing down and have reflectors. That was the whole
Okay.
point.
The,
It's-
the big light that is up there at the driveway, Duke Energy back out and directed that one to the ground. That
It's-
one can't go down
It's
anymore.
not going to the ground, because if it's going to the ground, it wouldn't be blasting the eyes. See what I'm saying? All she did was face it out that way. So the reality is, it's not towards the ground. So that's why I asked for him to be motion. Because if you have buildings on the light, if the police officer comes by, they can still see the building. But the big spotlight is facing towards the building and hitting the people in the back. Still, they pushed it all the way down and it's still bright. You see what I'm saying? That's why I requested, I came here and I asked for a motion. I asked for, they were promised to be pointing down and reflectors, all the buildings on all the lights on the side of the building, down and reflected.
That was discussed at the rezoning, but that was not listed as conditions in that conditional rezonings. So that has made it hard to enforce a lot of this that you've asked for. Just because it was discussed doesn't mean it was put in place to have to happen. But I have gone back to him trying to fix some of these things that have come up since the building has been built.
But what I'm saying is, I understand that, but why wasn't there meetings called or flyers put out or stuff like that? Because the issue is, those are a big issue. Y'all brought in a company and they're acting like a company from Raleigh, not Johnson County. I went literally all the way to all the companies around and there's no one with those non-bright lights except for him. Not anyone on that street.
Okay, he
Miss
came to
Oldham-
us.
Miss Oldham, if I may,
Yes.
we're not going to make a decision tonight about lights. I see your point, sir. I really do see your point. But we've got three separate entities here talking about their point of view. Wendy for the town, you and this other gentleman. What would prevent you and this gentleman and the gentleman out there getting together at dark or whatever and coming to an agreement and showing each other what's going on and ask him what he will do? We went out of our way, if I recall, when he came in, we were very nice to this gentleman. I don't recall his name. And we were sympathetic with his request because he wanted to move away from Raleigh and we showed him a better route coming here to Wilson's Mills. And I'm not saying he's being unfriendly or devious in any way, but I'm saying we got three butting heads here. The town, this gentleman and him. Can you get together, all three of you?
And I just to bring up, yeah, that's fine, but
Okay.
I don't understand why we get rid of a fence that was requested and then get rid of their buffer, because both was requested, so. The whole point of the fence was to keep little kids and people out of their property and foot traffic, and then the plants and stuff like that, this guy's just trying to cut us. No
Yeah,
offense.
sir,
Well, what
again,
was
once
put-
again, we can't make a decision up here as a council. It's not for us. That's for Miss Wendy, Miss Oldham to do, and you and this other gentleman. And then if the decision has to be made by the council or Miss Worley for anything, Wendy will bring it back to us.
That's fine, sir. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to be friendly before I have to call
Right.
the news.
No,
and
I
other people, 'cause
understand.
I'm a little bit
Yeah,
aggravated about
that's
this,
why I'm saying, let's get the people
because
together that,
Time is already up. I'm just-
let's get the people together and let's all three talk about it. Wendy will represent us and yourself and him. And it'll be a nice meeting.
You've got to match the ordinances and Wendy has got to comply with that. And he has agreed on almost everything.
Then what's the point of the meeting and us coming to tell y'all something and not putting the ordinance?
If we have ordinances and they've met ordinances, then they have what was in place prior to him moving in, then he's fine.
I agree that, but the meeting we had, which those minutes were prior to him moving and getting accepted for commercial.
And
property.
that's where Dave's talking about, you need to talk to Wendy, you need to talk to Leanne and hash it out there, not here.
See, we can't,
Because we're not gonna make a decision.
Yes, sir.
we
wanna-
can't change the ordinance tonight.
But
You-
why do we elect you as a town if you can't come together and help?
To do, sir, exactly what we're doing now. Would you like us to put a motion forward and say we're going to insist that this gentleman turn his lights down? That's not legal and council will tell you that. So before we go anywhere with respect to newspapers and WRAL, let's get with you and Wendy and this gentleman, which has never happened before, and discuss it. If it's not to your satisfaction, then talk to Wendy. She'll come to us and say, we have a problem. We'll work on it. Seriously.
But
We
isn't that-
can't-
Isn't that what I meant with what's her face? Sorry.
What's her
It's,
face? Sir?
Worley.
Yeah.
Mayor, I think
Yeah.
3 minutes is done.
If 3 minutes are up, so let's do that. No, I'm serious.
I
Sir,
understand
you
that.
can sit here for 20 minutes and say what you're saying. We understand and we may sympathize with you individually, but we cannot do anything. We cannot until this takes place. And then Wendy will come to us, and then as a council, we may have to do something about it. But until then, all three parties have to get together, sir.
I understand that.
Well,
I'm
good.
just saying,
That-
I don't necessarily agree with what you're saying, but I'll respect it. I've been here 3 times is my issue.
I understand that,
And
and
the
we
same
asked you the
issue over
first
and over.
time to understand that we as a council cannot make a decision like that. You have to go through Miss Worley and through Miss Oldham. That's the way it works, chain of command, sir. Okay?
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay.
I'm a Afghanistan vet, Purple Heart. So trust me, I understand what you're saying. And that's why I'm hoping you understand.
Well,
any other
military, sir,
veterans
military,
that the
just say
lights
military,
are
sir,
bothering me
sir,
physically.
please, just say military. That's sufficient.
No, I'm gonna tell you what it is because the DAV is gonna come.
If I could
All
remind
right, sir,
everybody,
I'm 3 minutes are up, sir. Thank you. We
Thank you.
tried.
Have a great day.
Anyone else wishing to speak? I closed the first open forum at 6:47. And it's time for me to make comments, and I do not have anything that I need to bring before you right now. So, Ms. Worley.
The first item on here is rescheduling the April work session. That Monday that we have the April work session scheduled is the day that the mayor and I will both be leaving for the League of Municipalities. And I had emailed all of you to see if you were available the following Monday. But because it's a regular meeting of the council, you need to vote to change that date. It was originally scheduled for
22nd.
April 22nd. And I asked about changing it to the following Monday, which is April 29th.
What is the pleasure of council?
Move that we change it to April 29th.
Motion made by Councilman Brown, seconded by Councilman McGowan to change this meeting. Is there any discussion? This is our work session. All in favor? All opposed? Meeting moved.
Okay. On the subject of work sessions, the time that you have them scheduled for at 5:30 may work at other times, but right now, while you're using those also as your budget work sessions, it's not giving us enough time before the planning board needs to set up, and we figured that out last month. So is there an earlier time that we can meet at least during budget season? Then we can move it back to 5:30, or would you rather keep the work sessions at 5:30 and schedule individual budget sessions? Because there's not enough time for both.
What if we go back to 5?
That would be up to the ones
Would-
that work. I know that we put it at 5:30 because some of you didn't think you could get here by 5. I-
How long does the planning session take?
The planning board meetings, I think it just depends on what they have on their agenda.
I mean, could we do it at 6:15? Would that work, Randy?
But their meeting starts at 7.
Uh,
That's the reason we need to
That's
move it.
right. Yep,
Yeah.
That's right.
Up. And again, we could keep it at 5:30 and not use these as budget sessions and just schedule additional budget sessions.
That would make us having 3 times a month.
3 times a month between now and June.
Yeah.
I'll go along with whatever anybody says, but you know my thoughts on this. I don't like the work sessions anyway. I do not like them. I prefer them to be work sessions. The public is invited.
Well,
So-
they're
They're
open
not.
meetings. The public
No,
is
so
invited.
I'm
They're
just
on
saying,
a-
I understand that. What I'm saying is, and I don't want to have to go back over my comments that I made during the work sessions, and that is, there's no cameras, there's not, it's recorded for minutes only, but there's no cameras for the folks that can't be there. It's not, to me, it's not open enough. I just don't care for it. I prefer sitting here when the audience is here or they're watching at home and having the chief and having Miss Oldham get up and give their reports here as opposed to at the work session. I know it makes for a faster meeting, but
Well, they're your meetings, so you all,
I'd like,
Let me know what you
I'd
wanna
just
do.
like to have them separate, but I promise to give you a couple of months with respect to this work/budget session.
it's not me. It's
I
your
know, I like the
meeting, so-
budget session as a budget session and no work sessions.
What does council feel?
I like them. I've only been to one of the work sessions. I missed the first one, but the second one, I liked the way it was done. I would like to see us start at 5, like Tim said. And I know and for me, sometimes it's not good. I think that normally on my work schedule now, I get off at 3 o'clock, so I can make it to it anytime. And if it has to be on a Tuesday rather than a Monday to help Tim, to help him out, I don't have, to help Randy out, I don't have a problem. I mean, I don't care what day it's done. You know, we said do it on Monday, but if people could do it better on Tuesday.
I can't do
we can do
Tuesdays.
Tuesday. I don't care.
Yeah, I can't do Tuesday all the way up through mid-April.
I'm available any day after 3 o'clock, as long as gives me time to get from Pine Hollow Golf Course here, which is about 30 minutes. I can do it anytime after 3 o'clock, any day.
I think the main one is Randy with his rotating work schedule.
1 week I'll work, a month, next week I'll work. January, rotate again. I'll be off first part of the year, second part of the year.
But we've got to have it, even if we don't call it a work session and have reports and so forth, we still got to have a budget session. And we can't do that at our regular meeting.
Yeah, I
So
mean, we, there's business that we have to take care of for the town.
Yeah. we have to do the budget.
As for me, I would say any day that would work. You know, maybe we can just communicate that with Leanne and whatever works out where Randy can join us. It might be a Tuesday this month and maybe a Wednesday next month. Is that possible?
I think you need to schedule them. They're regular meetings of the
Correct.
council. So we have to be able to post those meetings because they are open meetings. The public is welcome to attend. And the only reason we don't record those is just because this is what we're working with right now. Until we get our council chamber, this is cumbersome. So that's the only reason we don't, but we can figure it out somehow. If that's the biggest problem about not having it recorded, we can do that.
How long do you?
But
have
we
to
do need to
post it?
schedule it so that
Yes,
we can
we've got
post
to.
it.
How long do you have to post it?
Ma'am?
How long is the posting? How long do you have to post it in order to have?
I mean, it just has to be posted for the public to see what your schedule of meetings are. Like at the beginning of the year, you approve your meeting schedules,
Mhm.
and that is a regular meeting of council. So you have to say, this is when you're going to meet for every work session, and this is when you're going to meet for every regular council session. That makes sense. So you have to know what it's going to be so you can post it out there so the public knows when you're going to meet.
Yes,
Right.
we've already.
You've already approved it, so that's, but the time isn't working with the planning board.
Oh, okay.
We were trying to do it on the same night as the planning board so that we could have our meeting and they could go right into their meeting. But last time we went over so far that they didn't have time to set up. Wendy like to have pulled her hair out trying to get her meeting set up. So we can't not have the planning board meeting when they have business to discuss. So we're gonna have to figure out, do we need to keep it on Monday night and do it at 5? It would be the one that we just rescheduled, the 29th.
We have one next week?
The 29th.
Well, next week is the next one.
Next week.
Monday is
Yeah,
the next one.
What's next?
The one in April is the
the
one that was
29th.
just rescheduled.
Next Monday's our next meeting.
At 5, you mean? Yeah. Okay.
So do we just want to keep them like they are, except changing the time from 5:30 to 5 o'clock?
That's fine with me. I'm
Fine
not
with me.
available on Tuesdays, so that's fine with me on Monday.
It's fine with me.
Well,
If
it
it's
it
okay
sounds
with
like
Randy.
we just got to keep it the way it is to me and just be, aware of our time and cut us off when we need to hush.
As a point, if we just make it a budget session, then we can make the time.
What's that?
If we just make it strictly a budget session, we can make the time constraints. But when we throw in work session, it just goes out the window.
Okay. And you had agreed over the next few months to use the work sessions to meet with the architects about the chamber plans. And if we need to do something different with them about that as well, we can. I mean, they won't have many appearances before you until they're ready for things to be approved, but they did want you all to have a chance to go over the plans and the design schemes and stuff like that. So, and I think
I'm not
that's
sure
kinda
that
what-
that doesn't need to be something separate since we're already crunched for time.
And that's
um,
up to you all too.
When,
if you wanna do that
when we
separate.
meet with them, because I'm probably gonna have 1,000 questions.
Well, I know you will, because I
Oh.
saw some of the designs. So yeah, you're gonna have
You know,
1,000
So,
questions.
so maybe we need to take those meetings and shift them to a different day or,
Like
and
a
a
special
different,
meeting.
yeah, a special meeting. And just keep what we've already approved in place, and we'll just have to be mindful of our time.
Okay, so do we need a motion to change that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Make a motion, we change the time from 5:30 to 5
for our work session.
for our work session.
Motion made by Council Pro Tem Trippett and seconded by Councilman McGowan. Any more discussion? All in favor?
And just for clarification on that, when we're getting ready for the work sessions, you just want the monthly reports and budget items during the work sessions and the stuff for the chamber upfit to be scheduled as
Yes.
special meetings if needed.
As they have material for us to look at. That's gonna be, yeah, 'cause it's gonna be.
The second item is the discussion of the town hall campus master plan. We talked about this some in the work session as well, and using some of the grant money that we have to come together and figure out what our plans are going forward for all of the acreage out there on town hall campus. Looking at building a new police department, how the buildings that are already there want to be need to be utilized, such as that. The I almost called them Triangle J. Central Pines COG, Lee Worsley has offered to come in and kind of facilitate that because it's going to include all of council and a few other stakeholders, such as the property owners on each side of us, possibly somebody from the fire department. Because there's been a lot of different discussions about what's going out there, where it's going, not just the police department, but the road from the other development, possibly making that a town road. Parking, the way that the entrance and exits are going to be with the new council chambers. So I just wanted to let you know that we're working on that, and that will also be another special meeting, I'm sure. So, you all have a lot going on right now. What? It would be, it would probably just need to be, he will come and present that to you and talk to you about it some probably in April, but to sit down and just discuss it with all of the other stakeholders would be a special meeting that would be announced. So that the town could also see what's going on out there, have some input about what's going on with the property that the town has purchased.
The way we're set up tonight, I can't hear what's going on down there. Everybody needs to push the button on the microphone and talk so we can hear. I didn't understand her question at all.
The next item is an appointment to the events committee, and you have the application in your packet. Jeffrey Barley, and he is a member of the Clayton Rugby Club and has been very involved with them and the activities that we have going on and the events and stuff. So that's before you for approval.
I move we appoint Jeffrey Burley to the events committee.
Second. JC.
Motion made by Councilman Brown, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Trippett. Any discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have a couple of other things, Mayor. The livability publication that you all voted to purchase the ad in, you should have gotten a copy of that. It looks really good, yes. And we do have copies of those at Town Hall. They are being distributed at different places around town. So if anybody wants to stop by Town Hall and pick up a copy of it, you can. Also, the branding and logo request for qualifications, we received 5 submittals. They were due back Friday afternoon and we got 5, so we're reviewing those and they should be before you in April for awarding that bid. The chamber upfit, they're working, they're on schedule, and I have gotten 4 different schematic plans for you to look at for the layout for the chamber. Was gonna bring it to you next week, but I'm not sure how we'll work that now. I'm not sure how we can do that if we're not gonna do. I can probably just give you a copy of them next week and then we'll figure out if you want to sit down and meet and look at them, because you will need to choose which one we're gonna go forward with. So, also got some more updates from DOT and, I don't really know how to give this to you other than just to tell you what they're saying. Again, shoot the messenger. This information will be, on Facebook in a way that is a little more understandable than this email that I received from them. And also in our quarterly newsletter, which will be going out again the end of March. We had one that went out already this year. The next one will go out the end of March. But there will be some new traffic patterns out there as they work on median construction. They're planning to switch to the outside, east of Wilson's Mills Road to Turnage Road around the end of April, 1st of May. They are closing the Uzzle Road access to US 70 and fully opening the new service road from Sadisco Road to Strickland Road. And that will be probably sometime around the 25th, weather depending, so sometime next week. They're going to open the on-loop from Swift Creek Road to US 70 East at the end of April. You can already get off of 70 on the Swift Creek. They're going to open the other loop the end of April, 1st of May. Completing the interchange at Wilson's Mills Road and then shifting the US 70 traffic to the new bridges and removing the traffic lights. Hallelujah. At the future on and off ramps, and that will be sometime around August, September at the latest. They're completing all the final paving and pavement markings late fall and into spring, and that'll be the last part of the project. So I know that was a lot of information. I wanted it for anybody listening, anybody here, but it will be listed on our Facebook page, our website, and in our newsletter coming up the end of March.
So the main thing we need to remember is to just look for and follow the traffic patterns
Yeah.
that are posted. Because
And
we're gonna be moving.
And it's frustrating. It really is. I know it is because that light gets stuck and, you know, we all try to go home and we get stuck at that light, but, just know that we're in the short rows, as my grandma used to say.
I sure hope so.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Councilman Brown, you have a comment on that?
Comment. I'm just going to say that the interchange at Swift Creek and 70 is confusing. I have got behind multiple people trying to get on 70. And some have tried to turn onto the gravel to try to access 70. When it says Clayton this way, but you can't go that way. If they're gonna put the signs up, and look, I'm not shooting the messenger. If they call, and they're probably not, but if they call, I'm not a rocket scientist, but I can read road signs. And it's very confusing up there. I sit up there one day with a gentleman in front of me, and he thought it was a four-way stop because he couldn't figure out where to go. It's just so confusing. I don't understand how hard it is to get the paving crew to go ahead and pave that lane so you can get on 70. And there again, like I said, I'm not a rocket scientist, but you got one layer over here, and then you stopped, and the crew's gone somewhere else. Maybe they're on vacation. I don't know.
Is that, I just want to be sure I'm understanding which, the on loop from Swift Creek Road to US 70 going east?
East.
Okay, so that's what he's saying will be open the end of April. So about a month is what he said on that one. Now,
Well-
if I need to call him and ask him about working on some signage out there, would that help for the next month until they get it open?
Well, I think what would help is taxpayer dollars are paying for that, for him to go ahead and put that other layer of asphalt down so you can access 70 highway. Maybe so. I mean, but but the signage is very confusing out there. Because
I'll talk to him about the
you
sign.
can't go this way, but it says you can go that way, but you can't. Look, I hope and I pray that other projects in this state are not organized like this one was, because this has been a nightmare. But I think they need to do something at least with signage to help people when they're trying to get on 70. But that's just my opinion.
Any comments for Leanna? Okay. Miss Wendy?
You have a request for council action in your packet. The first one, the applicant has requested the rezone of parcel ID 17J07022A from agriculture to mixed use. A hearing must be called and held prior to a vote taking place. Please call for a hearing of the rezone of parcel 17J07022A excuse me, from agriculture to mixed use at the Monday, April 15th, 2024 town council meeting at 6:30 PM or as close as possible thereafter.
Where is this parcel specifically, Miss Wendy? I'm trying to,
On Strickland Road. There's no maps or anything included in your packet because we're just calling for a hearing tonight.
What's the pleasure of council?
Not that it matters, but because, I mean, we're gonna have to have to call it, but, what end of that road is it?
The Swift Creek Inn.
Swift Creek end?
Mhm.
Okay. And is it the area that we've already allotted sewer allotment? Is it that big tract of land or is it just okay?
I make a motion, we call for a public hearing to rezone of parcel ID 17J070022A from ag to mixed use for Monday, April 15, 2024.
Motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Trippett. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
The next thing in your packet is another request for council action. The applicant has requested the rezone of parcel ID 17K08028A from I-2, which is a Johnston County designation, to Civic. A hearing must be called and held prior to a vote taking place. Please call for a hearing of the rezone of parcel ID 17K08028A from I-2 to Civic at the Monday, April 15th, 2024 Town Council meeting at 6:30 PM or as close as possible thereafter.
Miss Wendy, we're going to call for that, I'm sure, but first off, could you tell us what I-2 and Civic mean for Johnston County?
I-2 is a county designation, some industrial that they had it zoned. And Civic is what we use for schools, churches, town properties, government properties, cemeteries.
I move that we have a hearing to rezone parcel ID 17K08028A Adam from I-2 to Civic at Monday, April 15th, 2024 council meeting at 6:30.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Brown, seconded by Councilman Jernigan. Any more discussion?
That's the property for the schools, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
The next thing you have in your packet is another request for council action. A memorandum of understanding for the Upper Coastal Plain Rural Planning Organization. The background is on October 7th, 2002, the town of Wilson's Mills entered into an agreement through a memorandum of understanding, an MOU, with Upper Coastal Plain Rural Planning Organization, UCP RPO, regarding transportation planning, with Nash County being the local purchasing agency, the LPA. On September 14th of 2022, it was approved for the LPA to change to the city of Wilson. The Technical Coordinating Committee and the Technical Advisory Committee, which are both committees through the UCP RPO, both voted to approve the change and amended the MOU was signed. Both committees are still intact with no changes. The amended MOU must be adopted by council and signed by Mayor Byrd. I'm the current representative on the UCP RPO TCC committee, and I attend those meetings that are in Wilson.
Wendy, what do you see about this? I mean, I can read all these initials all day long and I have to go back to the beginning each time. Help me out.
This paper in a nutshell just takes the UCP RPO from from Nash County to the city of Wilson.
There's no,
The home agency is all that changes. The staff are the same with the exception of a new lead, a new coordinator.
doesn't really affect us in Wilson's Mills all that much, does it?
This is our transportation agency, yes.
Okay, but
It,
by making a vote tonight to accept this change, we're not making any change to transportation policies or anything, are we?
no,
Okay.
no, this is just approving the change going from Nash County to the city of Wilson. Everything else stays with the committees.
Why didn't they do this in 2022? Wow. I- Didn't it change then?
It changed and it was voted to be changed in September of 2022. It had to go through all of its channels
Oh.
with the the TCC and then the TAC and then DOT had to approve it before it could come back out.
Okay, that makes sense. NCDOT had put their,
Right.
I make a motion, then we approve the adoption of the amended memorandum of understanding for cooperative, comprehensive, and continuing transportation planning and continued the establishment of a rural planning organization for the county of Johnston, municipality of Wilson's Mills. Does that say it? What, does that say it right? Okay.
Yep. Second.
motion was made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilwoman Dobbin. All in favor? All opposed? Councilman, do y'all have any comments?
I'll just make one small comment. As you recall, a year ago, we put in the budget some funds for feeding the children of Wilson's Mills through the Wilson's Mills Elementary School, specifically Miss Young, the counselor, and her 3 food drives per year. For the first time, a couple of weeks ago, we drew down on that $2,000. And thank you to Patrick Moore. And he and I went shopping, spent a whole day, had a nice lunch, and he's a good grocery shopper. And he kept tally of everything we got, and we fed, helped to feed, and I think we were pretty much the only ones. We helped feed 20 families, a good bit of food. So I want to thank the council for approving that. And I think next year we're going to do a little bit better on that, but we'll get to that. And thank you, Patrick, for all of your help. And thank you, Leanna, for allowing me to grab Patrick and go shopping.
Thank you. Thank you for you doing it. We do. We appreciate that. Anyone else? At this time, I'm going to open the second public forum. If anyone would like to come forward and speak, please sign in, state your name, address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. No one wishing to speak. I'm going to close the open forum at 7:18. Motion made by Councilman Jernigan, second by Councilman Brown to adjourn. All in favor?